So as always, we're going to start out with Colossians 3 and 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. Give me thanks to the Most High and the Father by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. We give all praise and glory to our Heavenly Father, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's his name forever and memorial to all generations. This time and from this time forth, give him all the praise. So I want to go to scriptures pertaining to continuing our plight and looking at faith, because it's very important that we see this and we operate as such, because without faith and works, you're not going to make it. And we went through this already. We showed how certain things are commandments of the Most High. Like certain things Paul said, he said he speaks this by permission. Some things he said this is a commandment of the Most High, so you got to pay heed, pay attention. Don't get caught up in your own feelings and get cut off. You see? So, the brothers, they had to have faith. They didn't have nothing else. They always following the law. A lot of them was raised up following the law. So now they had to have a faith that came through Mashiach Yahushua. Go to Romans 10 and 5. It says, for Moses described the righteousness which is of the law, that the man which doeth those things shall live by them. Verse 4. For Mashiach Yahushua is the end of the law of sacrifice for righteousness to everyone that believeth, everyone that have faith, and believing that he was the ultimate sacrifice, the Lamb of the Most High. Because you don't believe it, then you might as well even call on his name. You might as well even deal with him, period. And some people aren't. Or they do it in ignorance. And they still think it means the same thing. So we're going back to the law. What law? What was Moses dealing with? He's dealing with the law that the Most High gave them, the children of Israel. And the one law that he gave them was sacrificial laws. That's when a lot of people read the Bible. They don't really look at the law, been done away with. Yeah. We're not sacrificing animals for the atonement of our sins anymore. That's the law. Verse 7, or, should be verse 6, but the righteousness which is of faith, speak on this wise. Say not in thine heart, who shall ascend into heaven? Who's going to ascend into heaven? That is to bring Mashiach Yahushua down from above. Or, who shall descend into the deep? That is to bring up Mashiach Yahushua again from the dead. He rose already once. He ascended once. You see? So, it's like, what they're doing is dealing with, because got people they're waiting for him to come the first time. And go through this process like he wasn't the one that went through it. But they seen him for 40 days after he rose on the third day, walked the earth. And they seen him when this happened. Go to Acts 1 and 9. Men was there to see this. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, men beheld him, seeing him, he was taken up. and the cloud received him out of their sight. So that's ascending. You ascended up. So that's why I said uh, in verse 6, who shall ascend into heaven? That is to bring Mashiach down from above. You got to come down and do it all over again? No, he already did it. Or who shall ascend into the deep? That is to bring up Mashiach again from the dead. He died and rose on the third day. Do you believe it? You don't believe it, you have faith to believe it. That's why it says, but what says it? Verse 8. The word is nigh thee. The word is near you. Even in thy mouth and in thy heart. That is the word of faith, which we preach. Do you believe it? Or you going to find something else to believe in? That's why it says that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth, Mashiach Yahushua, our master, and shall believe in thine heart, which is your mind, that the Most High hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. But that's not the ultimate salvation. You can be made free through the word of the Most High, through the Spirit of the Most High, through what Mashiach Yahushua, through the glory of the Most High. He raised it from there. Why you got to do it all over? That's why you look at people waiting for him to come for the first time. He did this. But with the heart, which is the mind, with your mind, which is what you think, man believeth unto righteousness. And we know that righteousness is keeping of the laws of the Most High. Deuteronomy 6:25. And whatever he's telling us to do throughout the Bible, through his word. And with the mouth, confession is made unto salvation. And we know that salvation is being saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. Luke 1:68-71 is the salvation or being saved. That's what it's talking about. So the next verse, a lot of Gentiles will go to, especially Esau. You take you here and say, but there's no difference between the Jew and the Greek. For the same power over all is rich unto all that call upon him. Right? They're taking it to the Jew and to the Greek. But then, if you don't know the scriptures, then what are you going to do? You're going to say, oh, that's the Greeks, the Jews, the Israelites, and the white folks, so-called white folks. They're the Greeks. What about everybody else? Ain't nobody even, thinking that nature. What about the Arabs and the Africans, the East Indians, Chinese and Japanese and so forth? What about all the other people in the world? Just to the Israelites and to the so-called white people, to the Jew and to the Greek. And you get them caught up like that because it's like all they care about is themselves. But it's still, these Greeks are talking about Israelites. Point blank. It's not talking about Greek Edomites. And you can prove that when you go to 2 Maccabees, real quick, the 6th chapter, the 6th verse. 2 Maccabees in the Apocrypha, 6:6, to show you that Israelites were Greeks. And that's what that's talking about. Israelites. See, neither was it lawful. This is between Malachi and Matthew. See, most people don't even look at the fact that in Malachi, we in the Persian Mede Empire. In Matthew, we're in the Roman Empire. So what happened to the Greek Empire? Here it is right here. 2 Maccabees 6:6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feast days. Hear that? It was not lawful in the Greek Empire for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. See? So, if it was against the law to confess himself as being a Jew, then what were they called? Greeks. Called themselves, what's it say, let you know. Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. So it's no different than when you look at our people, what do they call themselves today? American. If they live in America. They just regurgitate what it is that's been told to them to say. And that's how they think. That's how they speak. And that's how they act. There's no different here. Because, I mean, our people, you look at the word Hellenist. Hellenist is Greek-speaking Jews. You know, we go over this during the time of the Feast of Dedication. So the Jew and the Greek, listen, for there's no difference between the Jew and the Greek. Romans 10 and 12. For the same master over all is rich unto all that call upon him. So we look at it and say, for whosoever shall call upon the name of Mashiach Yahushua shall be saved. So go to Acts. We're going to go backwards, but not in spirit, just for the scripture. Let's go back to the chapter of Acts 2:21. Same thing. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on by some of Mashiach Yahushua in the name of the Lord Savior shall be saved, right? What does it say next? You men of Israel, hear these words. Mashiach Yahushua of Nazareth, a man approved of the Most High among you. Among who? Ye men of Israel. By miracles and wonders and signs which the Most High did by him, who was the Mashiach Yahushua, where? In the midst of you. As you yourselves also know. They know. They say it was there witnessing it. Where does all this come from? I mean, you see this, remember, I always tell you, hey, I tell you, whenever you look at the New Testament, if you're in the Spirit, you understand that there is no New Testament. There is no New Testament. They only had the law and the prophets. So what are they quoting from? These are the things you must remember. Joel, the book of Joel, the 2nd chapter. This is what they're quoting from. From what we just read, we can go to verse 27. And you shall know that I am in the midst of Israel. It's clear. You can say you in the New Testament, but it's let you know here, because they already knew. It was talking about them. We don't know as a people, as the children of Israel. Say, and ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the master, the power, your power, and none else. Nobody else's. It said none else. And my people, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, shall never be ashamed. That's what he's quoting from. So if you don't know this, if you don't know the fact of you reading the New Testament and you got to come out of your religious type of mindset to be able to come back here and see what they're actually quoting from, regardless of how it's interpreted, the interpreters want to interpret it in the New Testament. Here, this is where it's at. It's coming from here. Verse 32. Don't this sound familiar? And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Mashiach Yahushua, in the name of the Lord and Savior, going to the Most High on our behalf, no man comes to the Father but by him, shall be delivered or saved. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Most High have said, and in the remnant, that 1/3 of the 12 tribes of Israel, whom the Most High shall call. So that's giving clear indication. That's just how you break that off, break them off. They want to go there and say to the Jew and to the Gentile, or the Greek. Sometimes they say Gentile, well, they are Gentiles. Just like how people say, "What are you, a Jew or Gentile?" They're gonna tell you what today they're Gentiles. You want to get more exclusive on it? Go to Romans 1:7. Who's this book talking to? To all that be in Rome, everyone beloved of the Most High. Who the Most High say love? Romans 9:13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved. Jacob is the forefather of who? The 12 tribes of Israel. So Romans 1:7 says, to all that be in Rome, beloved of the Most High, called to be saints. Who the saints? Come on, this is the way you break this down. So it's no and ifs or buts about it. You just get screaming and hollering, but it's too bad. I mean, they got to take it up with the Most High. We had to deal with it. All the lies have been taught. Our people still dealing with it in ignorance. They'll get over it. We got over it. Psalms 148:14. He also exalted the horn of his people. We describing who the saints are. The praise of all his saints. Who are they? Even of the children of Israel. Who are we? A people near unto the Most High. Praise ye the Most High. So, this is how you get understanding through the precepts. You can't nobody gainsay on this. That's why a lot of things that I look at as the Spirit bring, I got to bring out because, people are just putting certain things in one category and thinking this is the way it is and not really understanding. And some things really you're going to have to deal with the Most High on. That's why I say it, and I'm going to prove it. I try and prove all things. Something you think is wrong, the Most High did himself. Ooh. He said it himself. Just because, we know in part and prophesy in part, so some have not received it. Some have. They might be put down for receiving it, but can't nobody put down what the word says. We that bring it. We put down, talked about, because it's like, it just cuts you to the bone. It's like you gotta recognize, regardless. I want to be knowing what's right. I don't feel like correction is bad. I feel like it's something that I can look at and examine and move on with it and help you to be able to know there was a mistake. We know in part, we prophesy in part. That's why I say if I'm wrong, prove me wrong. That's what we believe in 1 Thessalonians 5:21, prove all things, right? So I stand firm to that. And it's not boasting, because I know, like I just said, I could be wrong. We know in part and prophesy in part. But the part that I do know, I'm bringing it. Hebrews 4:12. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart, of the mind. The way you thinking. This power, man. You talking about power, the word of the Most High, nothing more powerful than the word of the Most High. When you're rolling and operating in it. But see, we can't get puffed up because we know the knowledge. We still got to be humble. Time and place for everything. That's why we look at I said all the time I want to bring it. 2 Corinthians 10 and 12. This is just humility. 2 Corinthians 10 and 12. For we dare not make ourselves of the number. You know, you hear me say all the time, what number are you? Of the 144,000. What number are you? Of the 1/3 of the 12 tribes of Israel. You don't see any reply, but people are listening. Brothers are listening. And sisters, they're listening. You don't hear a reply. This is what it says. It says, for we dare not make ourselves one of the number. Of the number. For we dare not make ourselves of the number, or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves. But they measuring themselves by themselves, see? They measure themselves by themselves. I'm this, I'm that, high-minded, big-headed. Mashiach Shai will take 1,000 years to show us of the Father. So ain't nobody in this earth know like a Mashiach Yahushai. That's why I say a spiritual man gonna have the mind of a Mashiach. But some men went so far they think they could instruct the Most High. Better humble yourself. Pride is abomination before the Most High. But if you measure yourself by yourself, say don't do that. But they measure themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves are not wise. See, wisdom is proper application of knowledge, so it's telling you certain ways you got to operate. So you're not wise, you do that. But we will not boast of things without our measure, but according to the measure of the rule which the Most High have distributed to us. Rule, you hear me say rules and regulations? The Most High's laws are rules and regulations. Rules. Instructions that He's given us. But we will not boast of things without our measure, but according to the measure of the rule which the Most High have distributed to us, a measure to reach even unto you. See, that's why I'm saying every man know in part and prophesy in part. It's a certain measure that He gives a man to be able to reach out to the Israelites. That's His measure. You don't have the whole thing. Quiz him on it. See, nobody's gonna step to him to really, looking at him like whoever say we only have the truth. Or Hamashiach Yahushua is here with us. But they might be saying Jesus Christ is here with us. They might use whatever name they're using. He's over here with us. How you gonna gather us from the four corners of the earth if it's only one camp? And this is what people are doing. That's why He said they would do that. He said they would do that, and they're doing it. He said, for we stretch not ourselves beyond our measure, what the Most High has given you. Something you got to say, I don't know. Because you don't know. As though we reach not unto you, for we are come as far as to you also in preaching the gospel of a Mashiach. You can say, not boasting. What not boasting mean? Not being prideful of things without our measure. How you gonna boast about something you really don't even know what you're talking about? You only can come with the things that you know. That is of other men's labors. How you gonna boast on? And that's what you look at. Somebody gonna boast themselves up to be somebody. Then you got those that's under them boasting like they are whatever it is they pretending to be. And I mean that sincerely, pretending to be, because ain't nobody above a Mashiach. Ain't nobody on this earth under a Mashiach. Ain't nobody near him. Period. That's why He say, no man come to the Father but by me. That's all of us. We all got that same opportunity. Ain't no ranking order been given out to nobody on this earth. Period. Period. See, we just learn how to read. When you go back and look at some of the you do analysis and start talking. See, people don't talk to leaders. They talk to who they think they know. That's why I say no respect of persons. But go online with them and ask them questions. How much education you get? What was your grades in school? This, that, that. Ask some questions. Ain't gonna ask that. They be smashed. Those questions not gonna be answered. Because in their mind it don't matter. But at this time, you boasting yourself above measure. You're not supposed to. That's pride. Pride comes in and you can see it. If you humble, you can see it. Because it's opposite of being prideful. Hear what he said, not boasting boasting of things without our measure. That is of other men's labor. You can't, you got men that's elevating men. They boast about like they doing something that other men are doing. Other men's labor. They the ones that's laboring. But having hope, that's faith. When your faith is increased, that we shall be enlarged by you, according to our rule abundantly. And they over men. But you hear what they're saying. If they're not boasting, then they humble. And there's got to be some way that shows within you, within your character. If not, then you're prideful. Ain't no either or in between, or wavering. No, you either that or you humble, point blank. And you got to deal with situations as they come, but you still got to go back to being humble. That's your first stage. If you got to rouse up like a roaring lion, you got to do that. You go back to being humble and deal with this love of the Most High and love thy neighbor as thyself. Go back to that, else you don't have no peace. You can't tell me you have peace. Prove it. You ain't got no peace. It creates a mean spirit altogether. And you ain't bad as the Most High. You ain't bad as the Mashiach Yahushua. You ain't bad as the angels that's on this earth, ready to be commanded by the Most High to bring forth his vengeance. Well, you better think. People don't even think. I mean, it's right there. You go over it, then it's like, oh, they don't exist. With you, they don't exist. Shoot, they exist with me. Shoot, that's why I would say fear the Most High. You better be afraid of him. You better be scared of the Most High. Stop running around here trying to make up some other words that it means. Like I heard adults say and had to go to the children to tell them, what does fear the Most High mean? Get them to stand up at least 2-3 times. They still gonna try and define it some other way. To be scared of them, be afraid of them. Why grown people can't see this? Because of pride. To preach the gospel, verse 16, to preach the gospel in the regions beyond you, and not to boast in another man's line of things made ready to our hand. But he that glorieth, let him glory by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua, to the glory of the Most High. Glory be to the Most High. Praise ye the Most High. You want to glory, praise the Most High. Glory in him. How are we going to glory in ourselves? We're still in captivity. We got a little freedom to run around the plantation here, and all of a sudden now we all that. We're reading about men that was killed after all this. Hung upside down and stuff. For bringing the truth. Said, for not he that commendeth himself is approved. I'm this, I'm that, I'm the one you got to hear that's coming from the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua, or just from the Most High. pretty much eliminated Mashiach Yahushua because some men that took over Mashiach Yahushua's place. That's what he said. Listen what he said. For not he that commendeth himself is approved. You commend yourself, you ain't approved. But whom the Most High commended. And it's really serious when you start speaking for the Most High. Remember what we read? Hebrews 10:31 for us. But it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. Fearful what? That mean, what does that mean? If it don't mean to be afraid, to be scared. When he rise, he rise. When he rise, and send forth them spirits of vengeance. You ain't gonna be scared then? You ain't gonna be afraid then? Better recognize. First Corinthians 3:16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you? Yeah, we the temple of the Most High, and the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in us. That's why we have to have faith. We got to believe in him. This is all that we have. Ain't just ain't gonna be no carnal anything for us. If you really understand what this is about. What it says, know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of the Most High, and you defile the temple of the Most High, what's also in the temple of the Most High? Let me ask you a question. What's really important if our bodies is the temple of the Most High? What you destroy? That's real prevalent spiritually. Think on that a second. I would say your brain, the way you think, and anything that you use that will cause your mind to function disorderly, out of order. Or if your mind just had you doing it without any substance abuse or anything of that nature. You just out of it. You defiling your temple. That's why he said, if any man defile the temple of the Most High, him shall the Most High destroy. For the temple of the Most High is holy, which temple ye are. But we know the law is holy and just and good. So if you ain't dealing with the rules and regulations of the Most High, you're not holy. Pure blank. That's why it says the law was our schoolmaster to bring us to a Mashiach. Do you understand what was means? Most people don't. They look at that and go right over their head. It go right over their head because they're looking for something else. They're looking for something else to be able to justify what it is, how they want to be. You see? And do it their own way. A lot of it comes from religions. That's where it comes from. Sad to say, but it's real, people. This is beautiful. I love it. So from there, let's continue. Let's go to 1 Peter's 5th chapter. And verse 6. First Peter 5 and 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of the Most High, that he may exalt you in due time. See? That's an exaltation from the Most High, not through man, that you done exalted yourself to be somebody. That's why it's really prevalent. You just pull back and be nobody. Let the Most High do what he's saying. Humble yourself. Learn to be humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of the Most High, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he cares for you. Everything that you need, he says he cares for you. But are you really spiritually enough to realize that he cares, or you looking on for your own way to make it happen? And it's not going to work. Especially if we in this truth, we have to follow what it says, rules and regulations. You have to take heed to what's already been said. Because if not, then you only have your own self to save yourself. That's why he said in Matthew 11:28. Matthew 11:28. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. He said, take my yoke upon you and learn of me. Hear what it said? He said, take my yoke upon you and learn of me. Learn of a Mashiach. If you got to read all the Gospels over and over and over again, that's a great start. He said, take his yoke upon you and learn of him. Learn of a Mashiach. He said, for I am meek and lowly. He said, I'm meek and lowly in heart. And ye shall find rest unto your souls. So a lot of people don't have rest because they don't have the ability to follow what is written here. He said, you're gonna find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. He said, for his yoke is easy and his burden is light. That's why you want this. At least I want it. I want to continue to have it, I'll say. And that's St. John 14 and 27. St. John 14:27. Say, peace. It's a special peace, people. Say, peace I leave with you. You know, a lot when you go through trials and tribulations, a lot of times you find, wow, do you really have it? You say, peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you. You realize this is peace that Mashiach Yahushua said he's going to give us his peace. Not as the world giveth. Give I unto you. So let not your heart be troubled. Neither let it be afraid. Don't let your mind be troubled. Neither let it be afraid. That's why when you look at what's being said, it's being said, a lot of things being said because of the fact of what has already been said. It's just quoting it. You know? In a different way or sometimes the same way. We just have to know. 2 Timothy 1:7. For the Most High have not given us the spirit of fear. We got to fear him, but the Most High didn't give us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love, that's keeping of the commandments, and of a sound mind, to think right. So I say, be not thou therefore ashamed of the testimony of our power, Mashiach Yahushua, nor of me, was Paul, his prisoner. See, he a captive, he in captivity under a Mashiach. That's why he said we Mashiach him. If you understand that, then you your own. Put your name there, put Yam on the end of your name. If you understand what he's saying in 1 Corinthians 3:23. We're not going to be the Most Highs. Until the Mashiach come back and take us 1,000 years, if the Most High will, we're worthy to be there. 1,000 years, and then after 1,000 years, you ready. That's a lot of learning. Believe you me. That's a whole lot of learning, boy. What is he going to put on the table? Woo. You say that part that we know, he going to make it all whole. We got opportunity to know it all. But some people don't know it. They just want to go by whatever they do in their own mind, to do whatever they doing. Say, for the Most High has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind. Say, be not thou therefore ashamed of the testimony of our power, nor of me, his prisoner, Paul's writing, but be thou partaker of the afflictions of the gospel according to the power of the Most High. You hear that? The affliction of the Most High according to the power of the Most High. You know, it's like you like that woman and her 7 sons. What kind of power did they have? They knew what the scriptures said. And they knew as each one of them was tortured to death, that they had an opportunity to go into the kingdom, for standing firm, to not eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, oysters, or anything that eat doo-doo. That's an abomination. I wonder what most people these days would do. I used to eat back anyway, give it here. And die anyway. What kind of death you gonna die? Especially us knowing the truth, but then you look at that's why he said we'll be beat with more stripes than those that would have not known and eat it anyway. But here we are, we know we gotta be examples of they were examples. If you want to make it, I mean you can that'd be you do it and you know, that's why I say we'll be beat with more stripes than those that don't know. Because you know when you're gonna do it. That's why it says, power of the Most High said, who have saved us and called us with an holy calling. Saved us from what? Saved us from the wicked way of the world. How about that? From doing all the wickedness that everybody in the world would do, or doing, and don't understand the consequences. There's consequences behind a lot of things that people do. Who have saved us and called us with an holy calling, not according to our works, not according to anything that we done, or that they did, but according to his own purpose and grace. Grace getting something that we didn't even deserve, which was given us by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua before the world began. How about that? It was given unto us by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua in the name of the anointed Savior before the world was. You ready for that? That's powerful. Just he that endures to the end is going to apply to. And those that they come against during the time of Revelations 12 and 17, as you see the Most High said, not one of those going to perish. You got to have that number. But, verse here, but is now made manifest by the appearing of our power, our Savior. Mashiach Yahushua is coming to judge and make war. That's our Savior. Through the power of the Most High. and all the holy angels that he's rolling with, who have abolished death. You know? Who have abolished death? Abolished death, no more death, and have brought life. That's everlasting life, living forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and never, never, never seeing death. And immortality, living forever and ever 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 and never seeing death. To light through the gospel. What you talking about? Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. You have opportunity to live forever and ever and ever. Oh yes. That sounds good to me. I don't know about y'all. It sounds good to me. I love it. 1 Corinthians 15. 1 Corinthians 15. 1 Corinthians 15. And 57. But thanks be to the Most High, which giveth us the victory through our power, or our Master, Hamashiach Yahushua. Therefore, my beloved brethren, do we need to quote Romans 9:13 again? As it is written. It's written somewhere. Written Malachi 1:1-3. Therefore, my beloved brethren, Romans 9:13, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So, he don't love everybody. He said, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable. Hear this? Unmovable. Always abounding in the work of the Most High. Do it all. No matter what, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. Man, that's beautiful. To know that your labor is not in vain by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. Going to the Most High. Giving an account of our labor. He says not in vain. Hallelujah. Second Peter's first chapter. Second Peter's first chapter. Y'all all right? Second Peter's first chapter, the first verse. Simon Peter, a servant and an apostle of Hamashiach Yahushua. So, someone could say, because I know they got some pictures of Peter looking like a Gentile, like an Edomite. Let's see who the servants are. This is how you get understanding. Isaiah 44:1. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus said the Most High, that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Jezreel, another name for we the 12 tribes of Israel, whom I have chosen. Go to verse 21. It's clear here. Remember these, O Jacob and Israel, for thou art my servant. There it is. So going back to Peter's, 2 Peter's first chapter, the first verse. Now that we know that Peter definitely is an Israelite. You want to know how the Israelites look? Let's look at a scripture here in Lamentations 4, the 4th chapter. Let's see what it says here. Lamentations 4 and 8. Unbelievable. Look what it says, but believable because it's written. It says what? Lamentations 4 and 8. Their visage, I mean your facial appearance is blacker than a coal. Their visage is blacker than a coal. How about that? Jeremiah 42 says, Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof language, they are black unto the ground, different shades of brown. Dig up the earth, you see different shades of brown. Like when I was in Israel, you see a real kind of like light. You can look at the video, it's like really pretty, a pretty color, like almost reddish type of soil. It's beautiful, man. It looks different. It's beautiful. But it's all destroyed. Ain't nothing there. Land of Judah where we lived at, man, it's just nothing there. You know, they done put something here and there, wherever, the Jewish people, but there ain't nothing there. As the Most I say, you destroy our land, yeah, kicked us out, and the land crying to us, that's real. But it's destroyed, straight up. Going back to 2 Peter, the 1st chapter, the 1st verse. Now that we know Peter is an Israelite, he could be just as black as a Mashiach Yahushua was. His feet like a defined brass, it burned in the furnace. We just read it. Vision is blacker than a coal. Woo, that's real black. Don't get it twisted. We go from there all the way to the shades of ground. Or the dirt. He made us from the dirt. So 2 Peter 1 and 1. Simon Peter, a servant and an apostle of a Mashiach Yahushua, to them that have obtained like precious faith with us through the righteousness of the Most High, keeping the laws of the Most High, that's the righteousness of the Most High, and our Savior, Mashiach Yahushua, having faith in a Mashiach Yahushua. You can't deviate from it. That's why I took you to Revelation 14 and 12 and Revelation 22:14. So that's the last books of the Bible. You can't get no clearer than that. So it's saying the same thing here. Like precious